Previously on Paranormal Horizons.
Every time we talk about this,
it comes back.
it comes back. Whatever that's going on out here, these things are aware
They're aware
of what
of it.
we're talking about.
Put the camera in the other position.
Yeah.
And where we'll... Did you hear that?
111. 111.
111?
Negative. We have
Oh, wow. Yeah, we're getting orbs down here.
Maybe there's an intelligence out there, and maybe it's determining how we see it.
There are strange places with amazing stories hidden in valleys, down dirt roads, and off the beaten path. Such places often remain secret until someone comes forward to tell the accounts that were usually just passed down amongst family members for fear of being too unbelievable. Tales of ghosts, UFOs, and other phenomena, and the frequency and diversity of such sightings may be best left hidden in the shadows of these dark hollows and hills. Wineberry is one such place. Legends go back years before the primary witness was born. Here in this place, we have seen firsthand evidence of something very large moving through the area. We've heard what we think were tree knocks and recorded physical data. We've also seen photos and videos of even stranger phenomena, and have even seemed to make some form of contact with a form of intelligence that seemed aware of when it was being addressed. This new data meant only one thing. It was time to return to Wineberry.
All right, so we literally just got here, and we were retrieving the game cams. And while we were retrieving the game cams, not 100 feet from where one of them's located, we found tracks.
Yeah. So, this place, man. Let's just go up here and cast this thing and see what we get.
Yeah.
You know, we were here because obviously Beth said she had found more activity in this area recently.
Yeah.
So that's why we were walking this trail to pick the game cam up.
Yeah.
And download the images from it, and there's that. So
and in the process, here we are. We've got some tracks already.
Yeah.
So I already went and got plaster dust all over me.
So let's go see
So let's
what
go ahead
it
and get
is.
this going. So what we're looking at here is we have a big toe here, second, third, fourth, and a possible fifth over here on the side. The hill comes all the way down into here, and we're gonna mix up some plaster and get this cast. So we're looking at like a 13, 14 inch track. And then on the width, right there.
right there is about
8.
8.
Yeah, it'd be right about 7, 7 3/4 to 8.
Yeah. Well, it's big, whatever it is.
It matches some of the other tracks we've got out of here.
Yeah, it does.
At those measurements. Now we'd have to, once we get it out of the ground, we'll have to set it side by side.
Yeah.
But I think this might be the same guy that she got last year that matched the original Wineberry track. It's got to be runny enough to go into the cast, into the footprint, but you also don't want it to just run wherever. He did look around, and there were some other impressions, but none of them were really worth slinging plaster in.
Any detail there? You got it, I'd say.
I think so.
Sometimes it's easy to think that this is all just about Bigfoot until you have an encounter that you can't quite explain. Our last visit here left us with more questions than answers, and it also seemed to cause Beth to start remembering things. Things that were repressed and things that were serious challenges to belief systems. You mentioned before there's been weird stories in this entire valley, right? You said the orbs you've caught, there's been UFO stories, there's been ghost stories.
Yes.
This whole area just has a little bit of everything.
It's flooded with different stuff. There was an instance when I was younger that I didn't even remember. We were watching one of the Wild and Weird things about the UFOs and things that happen, the way your mind works sometimes. And my brother's like, hey, do you remember that UFO you seen when you were younger? And I was like, what are you even talking about? It kind of shocked me because I had no recollection of it whatsoever. Apparently, when I was younger, I wouldn't even go to school because I had saw a UFO on the other ridge line from where I was standing on my porch. I remember lights. I remember telling them that I thought that there were people that were on the ridge line hunting, and they had strobe lights hunting. My parents was about to take me to therapy and everything for it because I didn't want to go to school, I didn't want to go out of the house. And my brother, he said that I was hysterical. And finally, I just snapped out of it one day and was just fine. And still right now, there's bits and pieces of it that will come to me, but I still don't remember most of it.
This may sound strange to those who are not familiar with UFO contact events. However, missing and confused memories are a huge part of the contact phenomena. Some believe an intelligence behind the phenomena may be inflicting these confusions as part of an agenda to conceal itself. Others believe it is the product of our subconscious mind, an effort to protect our consciousness from a traumatic shock to our systems. This ontological shock is not confined to just UFOs, though. These events have occurred during Bigfoot-like activity as well. No matter the cause, the result at times exhibits what can appear to be PTSD-like symptoms. To help illustrate this further, we reached out to author, lecturer, and experiencer Reverend Michael Carter for his take on what Beth may be experiencing.
Many times when we have these experiences, and I'm talking about the paranormal experiences, I'm talking about whether it's you're seeing Sasquatch or you're seeing an extraterrestrial or a ghost or any type of metaphysical paranormal experience, for lack of a better word, you can call it what you will. It shatters our reality. It goes against everything we were taught. It goes against Newtonian physics, whether it's someone walking through your wall, whether it's someone who's been long deceased, whether you've seen a Bigfoot, whatever is outside of the box. And so it's very hard. The mind, remember, your reality has been shattered. And so your mind goes into, if it's happening right in front of you, sometimes it's fight or flight. Your mind is trying to compartmentalize and saying, is this real? Everything that I've been taught says that this is not supposed to happen.
So it's no surprise that early researchers were seeing a possible pattern to these events. Decades ago, UFO researchers such as John Keel and Jacques Vallée proposed that we're dealing with some form of non-human intelligence, which was purposefully hiding its true form from us. Not only that, but they suggested there was evidence all around the globe in the form of legends and lore.
There's some differences of opinion as to what exactly these things are. John Keel actually kind of shocked an international UFO conference by making comments that the paranormal, monsters, and UFOs all really belonged in the same boat, that they were all really the same phenomenon. That monster mania and UFO mania were exactly the same thing, in his words. And that what we're really seeing are different guises of something that's out there.
Operation Trojan Horse. And that's where he created sacrilege and was pulling together all these different, what we think of as different areas of study, like UFOs, cryptids, psychic phenomena. He got to the point where he didn't care how many portholes were in the craft or all the specifics or even what the creature looked like so much. He wanted to understand what he said was the cosmic mechanism behind these things. And so Keel was a century ahead of his time.
Now, the debate is really this. Are we seeing something that our minds are filtering through? Is it an expectation? Is it sort of a tulpa, that sort of thing, where we're creating what's out there based on our subconscious, but maybe your cultural context determines whether you see Bigfoot or a djinn. You know, whether you see Hat Man at the bottom of your bed or a gray. Whether you see a ghost or whether you see just an orb of light. Whether you see fairies or whether you see somebody holding a lantern. Maybe it's just something inside of our head. The other one is maybe there's an intelligence out there and maybe it's determining how we see it. And that is taking different guises throughout time, not based on our cultural expectations so much on our end, but on viewing us and then saying this is something they might accept. So they're actually determining the form. So in times past, we would see fairies, will-o'-the-wisps. We still see orbs, but they're not really taking anything but a supernatural or fae form. As we get further and further along technologically wise, we start seeing them as like, well, maybe that's a Foo Fighter, maybe that's technology from our enemies. Oh, now we're seeing airships, now we're seeing UFOs. And the things that we were seeing on the side of the road, instead of just being some sort of shadowy, hairy beast or something from our mythology, a one-eyed cyclops or what have you, now they're aliens, or now it's Bigfoot, now it's a wolf man, or a dog man from Michigan. You know, maybe it's something like that, to where it's really just trying to find something that will accept, but it is deceptive. It's a mask. So whatever it actually is something completely different. Now, we're either doing that ourselves or perfectly capable of self-deception. But still, it goes back to whether or not we're deceiving ourselves, we're manifesting it, or whether somebody else has kind of put the smoke screen over our eyes. And it's hard to say which is which.
Now, what's interesting to me about what Tony had just said is that the last time we were here, we'd gotten some strange instrument readings which seemed to respond to various topics being discussed. It was almost like the phenomena itself was aware that we were talking about it, and it was acknowledging that.
We were doing a series of tests at an area that you had found the most recent red orb, and you'd taken some photos. We collected some very strange evidence, and then we observed some bizarre phenomena occurring when you began to speak about what had happened in the past and the experience you had had. We began getting a strange 1.64 to 1.67 signal.
Yes.
What do you think about that? What do you think was going on in that moment, and how has that affected some of the way you look at the other strange phenomena that occur out here?
There are energies here that are very powerful. I don't know where they're coming from. It affects you. But that day that we were all together and that we were looking at that, I got an upset stomach and a headache and felt nauseous. Something here is very powerful, and that's all that I'm going to say on that, because I'm not sure even what it is, but it's very powerful.
There's multiple old dwellings that are on this property here at Wineberry.
Yes.
And one of them in particular, you've had some strange phenomena take place.
Uh-huh.
And then you've also had some strange things take place within your own home. Could you tell us a little bit about what took place first in the old house, and then in yours?
When I was little, of course, it's 15 feet from a graveyard. I used to see, I used to have these really strong feelings that I was being watched inside my own home all the time. And I would even pull the covers up over my face because I felt like I was always being stared at. And I would make sure that my shades were completely closed because it was always such an eerie feeling up there. Well, there was an incident with my jewelry that I had all my jewelry on my watch at the time for school for the morning and set it beside with my clothes. When I woke up, my jewelry had been moved and put back in the box, the jewelry box. I actually saw something white walk down the hall when I was younger. And another instance when this was at the other house, that same hollow, but the other house which had been reported to hear growls. My daughter actually heard a child laugh and then had something rush at her. And in the house that I'm living in now, my mom saw her doppelganger. So there's been a lot of things that have happened in that house.
Before you started experiencing this stuff, where did you stand on the belief system? Like, Bigfoot, UFOs, all that. What was your knowledge base of this stuff, and what did you think?
I didn't believe in it. I would laugh at people that say they saw Bigfoot or criticize people that had sightings, which is very wrong of me because, I guess maybe I was taught a good lesson in this because now that I'm here and have opened up my eyes to some of this stuff and opened up my mind to some of this stuff, it's coming at me 90 miles an hour and I don't know what to do with it. It's unbelievable that the things that are happening here that I can't understand or put my finger on. And from UFO to Sasquatch to or monkey man, whatever people want to call him, this place is unbelievably scattered with paranormal everything. It's everywhere. And it may have something to do with some kind of energy force here, I'm not sure. And it's coming from somewhere and we have no idea where. And that's the crazy part, that it's that fluent, that strong, but where could it be? Who's causing it? What's causing it? Where is it coming from? Why is it here? Why here?
And then it got strange again. We had noticed a strange buzzing sound coming from all around us, but we just thought it was bees in the distance.
This isn't a directional audio.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter which direction you turn. That's why when we've been recording,
Yeah.
you've seen me kind of walking, spinning in circles.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
Figure out where it's coming
isolate
from.
from.
Everywhere.
It's coming from every direction.
It's literally coming from everywhere.
And what I was doing with my phone,
Yeah.
when I was looking at this,
Yeah.
I used the 5 and 20 zoom
Yeah.
to look across the field to see if there was any bees or anything I wasn't seeing.
There's
not
no bees. I can hear this, I can hear it coming from about everywhere. What is that?
It's literally coming from every direction. Like, we walk this way, it doesn't get louder.
No, it's the
We
same.
walk this way, it doesn't get any louder. It's just, it's coming, almost like it's coming down.
We had all heard this sound before at other places of high strangeness.
Okay, let me tell you what. I want to tell you exactly what this reminds me of. This reminds me of the sound I've described over and over that I heard that night at your farm when we had that incident where that thing did whatever it did in the backyard. When I went back in, I said it sounded like hornets that were on a reverb far away. That's exactly what we're hearing right now.
Like, it sounds like bees. You would think it was bees. We thought it was a ton of bees. It's not bees. It's not hornets.
This is crazy.
There are so many encounters with flying saucers and even with, monsters like Bigfoot, etc., where you will hear a buzzing sound that sounds like the buzzing of bees, or you'll hear a humming sound or something along like a low throb that you can almost feel the pressure in your ears. There was actually, I believe it was a Huntington one where they actually heard not only the buzzing, but a low pressure in their ears. There's a 1954 French UFO flap that's really famous because it went on for a year long. It involved thousands of flying saucer sightings and more importantly, over 100 UFO occupant sightings. The French Martians were, a very famous set of sightings. But several of those sightings, people would describe, in addition to paralyzing rays that would immobilize people, that sort of thing, they would hear a humming sound. And a lot of times they described it exactly like the buzzing of bees. That was one that was definitely caught my attention. There were, I've also been Bigfoot sightings, like I said, where you hear like a buzzing sound, buzzing of bees. And that's interesting to me because we in West Virginia have a bioelectric Bigfoot. The 1960 sighting by Charles Stover involved a Bigfoot on the side of the road, his long hair standing straight up on end, and that caused his vehicle to stall out and the lights to stall out. And once he saw there was a monster on the side of the road, he's like, oh my God, I've got to start this up. And nothing's working until his friends were in we used to call it a Sweet Pickles bus, but it's a Volkswagen bus, and they noticed that he was missing. So they backed up. And when they backed up, the creature lowered its hair and his car started again. So they moved on down the pike, but after a little ways, he saw sparks flying out from underneath of his engine, and he stopped again, and lo and behold, there was the hair-raising Bigfoot. And fortunately, they came back again, and it receded into the darkness, blended into the darkness. Now, that's a figure of speech, obviously, that, we just melted into the shadows is how they put it. But there have been, what's fascinating is that there have been reports of camouflaging Bigfoot, camouflage like the Predator in the movies. And if Bigfoot as a species, if some of them have a bioelectric field that they can work that way, that would definitely be interesting. Because we do find in UFO sightings, Bigfoot sightings, we find this phenomenon where cars fail. It's famously pictured in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. That actually happens where just things stop working. The headlights stop working, the car engine stops, that sort of thing. And it seems to happen, like I said, not just around Bigfoot and not just around the other strange monsters, but it sometimes happens there was a case in the 1954 French Martian thing where somebody's car actually ended up stopping, and they had to pull over to the side of the road, and that's when they noticed the flying saucer. We find these, I find it really interesting because if Bigfoot and some of these other phenomena have the ability to manipulate things a certain way electrically, and we're hearing that hum, we're feeling a pressure in our ears that's been described by some people, then that suggests that there might be a mechanism by which we could detect them. That the method that they're using to control us could be turned on its head as a test to find them. And I think that's a great test to try out. I think that'd be wonderful. And since we were mentioning orbs, yes, some of those same bioelectric Bigfoot sightings have orbs involved with them. Some people believe that the Bigfoot is an orb at one point and then materializes into a Bigfoot. That's interesting. Can I confirm that? No. Would I love to? Absolutely. We have the electronic equipment now, I think, to try and discover where these are, or maybe to manifest it. And that might be interesting as well.
We've never been out here in this area. We've always been back that way.
It's back on the spring. We can set up here and do a night watch.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I was thinking,
I'm thinking we set up right here.
It sounds like there's a fleet of DJI drones on the other side of that ridge just hovering. It's like you're at one of those shows where they do the drone light shows.
Yeah.
It's that kind of a sound, but there's not a single drone in the air. We got a good flat spot right there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let's set up base right here. This is where we're going to set up base.
All right, that works for me.
I want to get everything that we can in this area. And that way we're going to have a clear view of that field right there too.
Yeah. We'll have a good vantage point of everything and the sky.
Yeah, let's get it set up. All right, so the question is this. Are we being distracted? Because we had plans to shoot in a specific area tonight.
We did. We did.
We had plans to shoot in a specific area tonight. We go back here just to do this interview, and all of a sudden, we start hearing the sound all around in this area.
Is it a distraction, or are they leading us where they want us to be? Because we know, you know for a fact, we've captured definite signs of non-human intelligence here that goes beyond the Bigfoot phenomenon. We have tons of Bigfoot data from this area. We have tons of that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to subject B, we have real evidence of some kind of non-human intelligence.
Well, there's definitely
And-
something going on here.
You know, sometimes it can be a distraction,
Yep,
or they can be bringing you to.
that's true. Well, all I know is we've heard this sound before at other places.
We have.
And we've never really put two and two together until right here, right now. So it's already led us to that.
Well,
so that's interesting
this
to
is-
me. This is
It's going to
interesting
be an
to
interesting
me.
evening, man.
It's going to be very interesting. Let's get some equipment moved into this area and get everything set up before it gets dark.
Yeah.
We had originally planned to investigate several of the areas on this site, but with this development, we decided to set up camp right here on the spot. We were about to throw everything we had at Wineberry and see if it threw anything back at us. While waiting for dusk, we got a closer look at one of the more strange pieces of evidence that's been collected on this site.
All right, Beth, so what are we looking at here? I know that when you sent me the pictures, I told you to go ahead and cut that out of the tree.
Yes.
But describe what this is for us, since you're the one that found it.
Oh, it was unbelievable. There was a limb about, I would say, 30 to 40 feet up. And now, if you look at this, it's at the bottom, there's a Y shape. And the limb had been pulled all the way around it in a spiral to be tied together at the end like this, so the limb would be able to stay that way, grow like that and stay. But I interrupted the process.
Look at this. It's actually
It's woven.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's woven.
Yeah, this is woven. Like, Joe,
You can't drop that and break it.
can you, this has to be done when this is plied,
Green.
right? Green.
Yeah, it's got to be green. And we have, it's woven here. And these are two branches, two independent branches.
Now, the kicker, as you can see in the video, in the actual photos that you took, this was not down low.
No, it was very high, about 30 to 40 feet up.
Yeah.
And it had been woven around the tree and then tied around the tree so that it couldn't come apart. That's how that one was. But at the very top, it was 30 to 40 feet up.
Have you seen anything like this?
Great apes. You know, you've got orangutan, so your pongans, and your gorillas are known for weaving and kind of making these sort of things, but normally not just for like decoration or anything. Like this is bizarre. It seems like there's intent. You know, when you look at it, there's so many ways that this could have gone wrong, but it didn't. And
it really looks like something was trying to figure out how can I do this? And
Yeah.
it's like, you know, it
and
reminds me
with
of-
the especially here, these parts of the branches are so delicate.
Yeah.
It's not so much back here, but these and the way they're just twisted into one another.
Now, we have no idea what caused this, but it was clear there needed to be thumbs involved.
Why would this thing be 30 to 40 feet in a tree?
That's crazy.
That's the weird part that
Yeah.
I don't understand. We don't have great apes around here.
We don't, where this came from makes no sense. But it is extremely fascinating because this could be one of the first things pulled out of this region.
Yeah.
That looks like this. I know that there's been some found in Ohio. David Wickham's found some. But he'll bring those around. You know, you'll see it sitting on his booth at some of the shows. But this is
So what we can
This is
say
something.
about this, without even going into any kind of discussion on this at a later date, is that that's not natural.
no, yeah. This isn't storm damage.
That's what I'm saying.
This isn't nobody just. I mean, I guess you would have had to really got a really wild hair to say
Climb
I'm
up
climbing
30
up the
feet
tree
up the
and
tree
and gonna do this.
Do this?
It's just
I
bizarre.
just don't understand it. That's amazing.
awesome find.
Good
Yes,
find.
thank you.
Thanks for gathering that.
And very good bringing it back.
Yes.
Wow.
Now we were off to recover the track that we had cast.
Alrighty. Should be good and dry now. It's set up good. Here we go. Alright, we've got the cast out of the ground. Now we wait because you don't want to abrade this right now. You don't want to try to take off the dirt. You want to let that dirt dry really, really well. So here in about 2 days, we'll know what it looks like.
On our way back, we decided to stop by the old cemetery and home, where Beth had captured several anomalies on her game camera.
So this is a cemetery that rests in Wineberry, and you're looking at dates. Some of these don't even have dates marked on them. Some of these stones don't even have names. They're just plot markers. But then you get to the ones, some of the oldest ones in the cemetery here are dated 1856 to 1927. You're going back almost 200 years just with that individual on this land. It's unreal. The history here is so rich. There's so much going on. There's so many stories to tell here. And that's why Wineberry is so rich, I believe. Because it is just steeped in history of people being here and actually taking care of the land.
Then we started to notice something a little peculiar about some of the stones.
What you got?
Another stillborn grave.
And does anything on this?
Nothing. This one's just an obelisk. Born and died. 1965.
This is
Like this isn't like a bunch of kids.
This is weird. Right?
Like it's a bunch of babies.
This is weird.
It was weird, but what was even more weird was the tree that I was shooting for B-roll. And I just happened to notice it looked a little familiar.
It's done while it was green.
Right? Is this not what we're looking at?
Yeah.
This had to be the same. Tell me that is not the same thing that we saw, except for this is in a much bigger form.
Oh yeah, I mean it it almost looks identical. You've got the way the branches are bent and woven into themselves and purposefully twisted. And this is coming off of one trunk. You know, these aren't two trees at first, and they were leaned against the second one, but this is one tree here that's been twisted and twisted once again somehow.
What in the world twists branches like this, though? Is this normal?
No, this is definitely not a normal growth pattern. I mean, the bark is so old. It's anything that would be like, say, a nail or a twist tie that could have been done by a person. You're looking at something that would have already grown over. We'd never see that at this point because the bark would have just kind of grown around it and absorbed it. So to know if there was any kind of attachment up there, we would have to cut it out. But it's strange. You know, we're dealing with something that is just a few miles away from here, and Beth had found another younger version of what this possibly could have been. It's very, very strange.
Regardless of whatever it could be, it was now time to get back to base camp and get ready for tonight's investigation.
It's getting late.
Yeah,
It's time to get out in those woods.
because we want to get into the woods before dusk.
Yeah.
We're almost there. We've got about 15 minutes till dusk, and we want to get into position and be in the brush when things come alive.
Right. And they're going to be back here monitoring base camp for us.
Yeah.
And anything happens, they're going to get a hold of us, let us know what's going on. We'll get back down this way, but I want to get back out in there and just see with the weird stuff that's going on around here.
Oh,
you
yeah.
just never know.
Yeah, absolutely. This place is a hotbed of activity,
Yeah, it is.
and various activity,
Yeah, absolutely.
and correlating activity at that.
It's something.
It's
So,
very strange.
It is very strange. So let's go. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Is this little area where, across from where we were at, when you guys saw that orb?
Yeah. Yeah, we were on the other side of the hill.
Yeah, up on that ridge, right?
Yeah, we were, if you were to draw a straight line from where we are currently, we would be on the opposite side of that ridge.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. So this is the hillside you were shooting into.
Yeah,
So this is the hill, which is the same valley where they said that they've seen lights.
yeah.
How about that? How about that?
And this is exactly why we call the area Wineberry.
There they are.
Yep.
I swear I heard something walking right here. Not kidding.
Well, the girls have been saying they've been hearing something walking back this way. Keep your ears open. Here's the remains of that old deer stand.
It is there, isn't it?
Yeah.
What is that?
So we decided to go up the trail
Something.
into the exact same area where orbs have been seen before. While we were heading up there, though, we found something a little odd. Now, typically, tree structures, they don't really get us that excited. But this wasn't your typical tree structure.
All right. So
Wedged between?
it's wedged between 6 trees. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points of contact. So, okay, normally I don't get too excited about tree structure stuff because, like, why? Honestly, I don't know. There's not really a whole bunch of basis behind it. With the nests, okay, I get it. I can get behind the Olympic Project nest stuff. But when it comes to things like trees stacked in trees, I don't get it. But this one is this is
Look at this. How it's wedged in there.
wedged in. I don't know if I can capture it right now.
Over that way you can.
There we go.
See it?
That is way up there. Like that's like I can't touch it. It's
no
10.
way.
It's 8.5, like 9 feet easy in the air at the lowest point.
Yeah.
Here, Ron, take this. I'm gonna stand up here
Okay. Yeah.
and use because like I know
Yeah, this is crazy.
for me, from standing up to the tip of my middle finger, fully extended from the ground, I'm like right in 8.5 to 8 3/4 feet. Okay.
Yeah, you're not doing that. Now let me show you one thing here. Sit
But
this up here.
this is it gets even stranger. Here, hold on. I'll film you on it because I got this
Well, I
on
want
a
to show you this. Look
little
at this.
angle.
So if you were to do this, all right, say we're going to pick up a big tree, and we're going to do this. If we did, no, you're not going to do this.
No,
It
that's
happened.
that. Look at that lineup, guys. Look at that lineup.
It happened.
That
I've never seen anything like this.
that is bizarre.
And to come walking straight up to it, that's
And then it goes all the way up, connects in right there. There are 6 points of contact. This thing's not going anywhere anytime soon either. So I don't know what to make of that. This is the one tree thing that I'm scratching my head on, being completely honest.
I'm with you on this. This is something different. This is not your typical, you know, I can't explain that. And I mean, we could say storm damage on a lot, but how?
And where's the rest of it?
I'm trying to figure that out.
Where's-
I've been looking.
Where is the rest of it?
It's not here. That's where it's at.
Yes, we're here.
All right. Well, we found a very interesting tree anomaly up here.
We can call it a structure.
You want us to come up?
I wouldn't leave base camp over, but I wanna just talk to you guys and tell you what we're seeing. It is a 4.5-inch thick body of a tree that runs 24, 26 feet in length, and it's 10 feet up in the air, wedged in between 6 trees over the entire length.
Is it over the island?
What is the island?
The land island, she says. It looks like 2 streams went around it.
Yeah, that's where we're at.
She's seen that before.
Okay, so this has been here for a while then.
Yes.
Copy that. This is really interesting.
She said she didn't realize it was something she didn't know what she was looking for. We're also hearing owls here.
Get the phasm and get it rolling.
Fire it all up.
Copy.
What in the world, dude?
Right?
What is this?
It's weird. I'm gonna bring us back up and I'm gonna put the camera in the other position.
Yeah.
And where we'll. Did you hear that?
We both heard something very strange near us. Here it is, cleaned up just a bit.
Position.
Yeah.
And where we'll.
We heard the rapid clicks, but not that other whooshing sound.
Is that rolling?
Yeah, this is rolling. Did you hear that?
Behind us, there it is. Told you I had something on this.
Here, put a hand on this.
Something or someone's up here.
Yeah.
And how are they hearing owls when we don't hear owls?
Yeah. I have got nothing
You
on
just heard a tree knock. Did you guys hear it?
Negative. But we have something.
Negative on the tree knock, but we have a visitor.
Something's coming up here to spring.
It's behind us. We've been flanked.
Yep.
Joe. Behind me. Now, I have no idea what was going on here, but there was clearly something behind me. I heard it, and it seemed like it was very, very close by, but nothing was there. Joe. There's something behind me right now. I'm looking and I've got nothing. Okay. Subject B, it could be then. All right.